Peugeot's improved 2008 is a small crossover that offers an arguably more sophisticated take on the kind of little urban SUV-style design popularised by cars like Nissan's Juke. Super Mini based, it offers all the advantages of that compact runaround you were thinking of, together with the kind of added space, style and light off-road drivability you probably never expected to be able to enjoy on a small car budget. The smarter looks of this revised version aim to draw attention to a very efficient range of engines, plus there's extra media connectivity and stronger standards of safety.
On the move, the higher, more commanding driving position and the mildly SUV-style feel of this model have been achieved without too many obvious changes to the nippy, well-balanced handling of the 208 Super Mini from which this car is largely derived. Under the bonnet, quite a lot's changed since this 2008 model's original launch, thanks to the introduction of PureTech petrol and Blue HDI diesel technology. All the petrol variants now use a 1.2-litre three-cylinder unit, this power plant developing 82 bhp in base normally aspirated form, or 110 or 130 bhp in turbocharged guise. Most buyers, though, will want a diesel. The three 1.6-litre Blue HDI options offering either 75, 100 or as in this case, 120 bhp. All of these variants return 76.3 miles per gallon on the combined cycle and around 97 grams per kilometre of CO2. That leaves only the question of off-tarmac prowess. Yes, despite the fact that there's no four-wheel drive option on this car, you do actually get some, provided you specify one of the upmarket trim levels that come complete with Peugeot's proven grip control system. By breaking a wildly spinning front wheel, this setup works with the standard ESP stability control program to transfer torque to the tyre with the most traction. And this, along with standard mud and snow tyres, is enough to enable negotiation of some surprisingly sticky situations. If you're one of those people who like the idea of a small crossover class car but think more ostentatiously styled contenders in the class like Nissan's Juke and Ford's EcoSport look, well, rather silly, then the subtly fashionable shape of this Peugeot 2008 will suit you perfectly. The changes made to this improved model mostly centre on the front end, where the restyled bonnet no longer features a Peugeot Lion badge. That's been moved to the centre of this smarter, more distinctive grille that brings the look of this model into line with that of the brand's second generation 3008. Let's take a seat inside. Now, the feeling you get at the wheel of this car has always been one of the things that's most likely to sell it to you. So, Peugeot has hardly changed things at all as part of the updates made to this revised model. We particularly like the styled metal look gear knob and the cool blue frames around the instrument binnacle dials. Yes, the instrument binnacle. Now, the style and positioning of this and the tiny steering wheel is part of the car's unusual so-called i-cockpit interior design, something that's always been a major talking point with this model. You have to view the dials over the top of the steering wheel rim, and initially it can take a bit of adjustment and fiddling around until you get to the point where you can see these gauges properly. That's something that not everyone may be able to manage completely to their satisfaction. Do that, though, and for most, the benefits will be well worth having, namely wrist flick steering feel and instruments that are much closer to your line of sight on the roadway ahead. Just about everything else you need to know can be found on what looks like a tablet PC attached to the fascia, this multifunction 7-inch colour touchscreen, which is fitted as standard to all but the very cheapest entry-level models. As for rear seat accommodation, well, the first thing to say is that the slight advantages this Peugeot enjoys in overall length over rivals like Nissan's Juke and Ford's EcoSport really show here, because this 2008 feels significantly less cramped in the back than either of those two cars. And this is especially true in terms of legroom, meaning that an average-sized adult can sit behind a 6-foot driver in reasonable comfort. So let's finish by taking a look at the luggage area out back. Now, the first thing you might notice is that, rather annoyingly, this parcel shelf doesn't lift with the tailgate. There's just this hinged edge that you can pull up to see the boot better. Take the thing out, though, and a 422 litre area is revealed, the space enough being 20% more than you get in the 208, which means that it's one of the larger cargo areas that you'll find in this class. Some manufacturers seem to believe a small crossover should be extreme, both in its styling and in the price premium it demands over the Super Mini it's based on. Peugeot, in contrast, think differently about a car of this kind. This 2008 may not make as overt a style statement as some of its rivals, but you sense that's intentional. It's for those shopping in this segment in search of something more subtly fashionable. These customers tend also to be people who appreciate this Peugeot's other key attributes, namely asking prices and running cost efficiency figures that are difficult to beat. Now, if that's what you want in this segment, but you don't feel the need to make any sort of supermarket car park statement, then you probably need to try this car.